Welcome to Accelerated Engineering. This is the tutorial on the sum function and a related pun at the end. If you were looking for a tutorial on a different function, let me know in the comments so that I can get right on that. So the sum function is one of the first and earliest functions that you should learn when using Excel. It's common and it leverages the powerful math engine under the Excel framework. So the way that the sum function works, by direct entry at least, is you can type in equals sum and then enter the numbers separated by commas that you want to add up. Close the parentheses and hit enter, and Excel automatically calculates the sum. Now, this has the potential to get rather old fairly quickly if you need to add a large number of numbers together. So this isn't usually the way that we would add numbers together in Excel. This is just one way to do this. An easier way is to use cell references. For example, this sheet has a number of scattered values across the sheet, but I can sum those up using the same sum function and by referencing each of these numbered cells. You can see that the formula automatically fills in the cell reference, which is given by a letter and a number. Letter to indicate column and a number to indicate row. And this will perform the same sum function, except that I missed one, and I'm not going to let that slide. Correct number of parentheses, enter. The sum is equal to 34, the numbers on this page. Now, adding things up one cell at a time is a little bit tedious. So we have another way of doing this, and we can use range references. In this example where the numbers are stacked, the sum function can be used, and instead of clicking on each individual cell, I'm going to click and drag. And Excel fills in the range, again from a cell with a column and number to column and number, and yeah, it keeps all of those. I can separate by a comma to add pretty much as many ranges as I want to this, and it will still perform the same sum. Now, you don't have to add up only vertical sums. You can also add them horizontally, or horizontal ranges like this, selecting a large area, and it will perform the same thing, summing up all of these numbers. Now, that works pretty well, but sometimes in Excel, especially with the new dynamic array updates, not always is it the case that you know how large the range is that needs to be added. For example, I've created a little function off to the side here that generates some number of random numbers, and I can pick how many numbers it adds up. But this function needs to be referenced in a special way. For example, if I just use the range technique that I already know, I'll type it in, A2 colon to A8 and close. That's great. It encloses all of the values I wanted to add. But now, if I change this and have more numbers, my range is extended, my formula did not update to the extended range. It doesn't work. Fortunately, Excel is pretty smart, and if you did it the same way that I usually do, selecting the entire range, notice that Excel automatically replaces your range with this hashtag, or number sign, or pound sign, or octothorpe, or however you like it. Closing this reference with the hashtag indicates that it will sum all of the values output by the formula contained in A2. You can see which ones these are by this highlighted blue box. So that's a really nifty way of grabbing an entire range when the range might change size on you without warning. But wait, there's more. Another way to do references, and this is the last one, is in the event of tables. Excel has wonderful tables that you can use for a whole bunch of different tools. And in this case, I've just populated a small table with a variety of numbers. Inside of this, if I want to add a sum function to sum up the values all in a row. If I type this in and then select a value in the column, Excel uses a slightly different form of this addressing. It uses an ampersand to say that you're looking at the same row as your formula is written in, and it says column 1. So that's referencing the column or the title of the column in this table. And that's pretty handy. I can continue adding all of my columns in, and when I close the parentheses and hit enter, the table auto-populates and fills each of these rows with the same value. Now, I can also go back here and just click and drag, and I get a similar range as we've seen before, again with the colon separating this value. This is a little bit of a different and new way that Excel uses referencing as an input for formulas, but it's a nifty way, and again the table auto-populates. Now this doesn't just work horizontally, it also works vertically. If I wanted to add up a total from a column, for example, I can still do that, and instead the reference changes to, say, table 1 and then sum, or the column, it's referenced by the column name. And that's how that goes. Beautiful little powerful tool. And one more thing, because this formula is so fundamental to Excel, if you select a set of numbers, it will also show you a little sum down in the lower right-hand corner. This concludes the tutorial. If you're still here, you must now endure the joke. That's the rules. What is addition's favorite season? Summer. And if that doesn't scare you off, consider subscribing for more content like this.